Up next on the Day Beer Review, we're going to be looking at Cabin Fever. This is a Foeder aged barley wine by Drownedlands Beer. And it's coming in at 10% ABV. Check it out. Hi everybody, it's Rich and welcome to the Day Beer Review. Today we're going to look at something different. This is Cabin Fever. This is a Foeder aged barley wine. Now I didn't know what that was, so I had to look it up. Turns out it's an oak barrel basically. I don't know if it's charred or not. There was nothing on there that sort of said it was charred, so I don't think it's like a barrel aged in the barrel aged, like bourbon barrel aged type stuff. And this is also a barley wine, which I'm normally not a big barley wine drinker. I will say this, I had never heard of Drownedlands beer or brewery before I found this can. And I looked up the website really to see what a Foeder aged, beer or barley wine was. It's a cool looking website. A lot of their stuff is named after sort of the lands, in which the brewery is sort of set up. And this is a New York brewery, somewhere in the Hudson Valley. I really don't know it well. It says that it's brewed and canned in Warwick, New York. I don't know Warwick at all, so I can't really speak to the town. This is pretty heavy hitter coming in at 10%. I really didn't know what glass to use with a barley wine. So I wound up just getting one of my stem glasses, took out the first one, cleaned it off, managed to crack it, took out the second one, cleaned it off more carefully, and we have this here. When I bought this can as a single in Larchmont, New York. So, sort of in like the whole like Nyack, New Rochelle area of New York, not far outside of, Brooklyn, not Brooklyn, I'm sorry, the Bronx. So we've cracked this open. Interesting aroma, almost a honey, molassesy type of smell coming right out of the can. I love when that happens, by the way. I really like when you wind up opening the beer and the beer just hits you with a really good aroma. And this is one of those really good aromas. And I have to stop saying beer, it is a barley wine. So let's give it a pour. And it pours sort of a light amber. And I've been saying this about a lot of beers lately, but it's pouring sort of, and looks the color of like a good Oktoberfest lager. All right, let me stop. So a nice dark, well, not dark, but sort of an amber brown color. About 2 inches ahead. It might be the glass, might be a bad pour on my part. I'm getting a little bit of sugar, a little bit of smoke, but sort of that smoky molasses type of, flavor. Maybe a little bit of wood from the oak. I'm not really sure. What else? It has a really nice, I don't want to say roasted, but it's sort of like oaky type of aroma to it. It's almost like, it's going to sound weird. If you take a Glencairn glass and you finish drinking it and you leave it on the bar for a little bit and then you come back and like there's that hint of an aroma of sort of like a barrel or sort of oakiness that's left in that glass. That's sort of what I'm getting here. It's very pleasant, the nose on this. All right, let's see what it tastes like. That's really nice. Well, it's really complex too. All right, so let's start off on the front end. I'm getting sort of that sort of syrupy, molassesy flavor that I thought I got from the nose, which is interesting. As the beer goes down and as you exhale, as you swallow, you also get just a hint of like sweetness that sort of brings it up. And then right after that, after you like inhale for real, right after you swallow, there's sort of a little bit, just a hint of sort of a hoppy bitterness on the back end. And I'm probably not using that term right, so take hoppy out of it. There's a little bit of bitterness. This particular drink takes your taste buds through like a whole assortment of flavors, from sort of that you know, sort of oaky. I wonder if that's what it is. I wonder if the bitterness is sort of the tannins you get from the uncharred oak. That makes some sense. And again, this is a complex one. It goes from like hinting sweet to, as you swallow, a little bit sweet, and as you exhale, you get sort of that bitterness. And you know, I know nothing about making a barley wine. I know nothing about aging it in barrels, either raw or charred, but I would bet that that bitterness is sort of the after effect of sort of like the tannins you get out of oak. Particularly, I'm thinking of like the bitterness of an acorn that hasn't been leached out. So, you know, I think that hasn't had the tannins leached out. I think this is a really, really interesting beer. And really enjoyable because of its complexity. I don't think this is one that you're just gonna slam down and be like, oh, that was good. Because it really does. It's sort of like this roller coaster ride of different flavors. Yeah. So again, that sort of molassesness in the front, that sort of oakiness, you know, wood-wise. Then as you swallow it, a little bit of that sweetness that comes in, and then a back-end bitterness on it. And it's not a bitterness that's unenjoyable, which is the thing. It's not like the bitterness that I normally complain about, really, when I talk about IPAs. It's a nice bitterness that makes sure that this barley wine doesn't overwhelm you with, you know, just the roasted sort of oaky notes that you get out of it. And you know, it doesn't, I honestly, I'm having such a hard time with this one, and I'm really enjoying taking it apart. I will say this, a lot of the high ABV beers that we've had in the bar and that I've talked to you all about have really, really hidden the alcohol. The other sort of complex thing about this is initially there's no alcohol burn in the throat and there's nothing in the stomach. 3 steps in, you start to feel the warmth in the stomach, and it is coming, you know, a little bit more in the throat. So it's like, as you continue with this particular barley wine, you do taste the alcohol, but it's not that off-putting ethanol flavor. It's sort of just like a warming feeling throughout, you know, the gut. It's really nice. This would be a great drink to have while sitting next to a fireplace. You know, I'm thinking like it's cold, it's winter outside, and you know, like you want a beer and you want something unique that's going to warm you up in, you know, from inside out, if you will. And I think this would be one that I would choose. It's really, really enjoyable. It's something I think that, I mean, when I sign off here and I say I'm going to go enjoy this, like, this is going to probably last me a good portion of the evening. Because it is such a nice drinking barley wine. Anyway, folks, that's it for this review, except for one last thing. Would I buy this again? Yes, and I would share it. In fact, I think I spent, it's either $4.99 or $5.99 a can where I got this. And they had a mixed 6 type of thing. So I picked this one up, and would I buy it again? Yes. Would I spend between $24 and let's say $30 for the 4-pack for the sake of sharing this out with other people? I actually would. I think it's worthwhile, and I think other people would find it worthwhile and interesting too. Anyway, folks, I'm going to wrap this up. Again, this is Cabin Fever. This is a Foeder aged barley wine by Drownedlands. I guess it's brewery or beer company. I don't know. It just says Drownedlands Beer. In fact, it does have their website on here, which is drownedlands.beer. I'm not sure if that's their, you know, the end of the prefix, but it's there. The can art's pretty solid, and would I buy it again? In a second. You know, not only would I buy it again, this is one that I would recommend people try just because it's an interesting drink. Is it necessarily going to be a daily drinker? No. This is not something I would drink every day just because of the alcohol content, quite frankly. Would I have it again? Happily. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe. If you've tried anything else by Drownedlands, I guess, beer, I'd love to hear about that. I'm actually going to go to their website and see what else I can find locally, because I find this to be a really interesting beer, and their website, like I said, looked really good and something that I'd probably enjoy in the future. All right, folks, I hope you enjoyed the review. See you next time. I'm going to sit back and I'm really going to enjoy this one. Cheers.